What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Stream On Streaming On podcast with Blluist. This is going to be the May edition.
Yes.
For this podcast of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Another month of just kind of going over what we thought, just our experiences, whatnot of streaming.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't really pinpoint one thing, or it's either that or it's just like a mishmash of stuff that's happened this month. So it's kind of hard to keep track, but
I mean, not much has happened this month.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It's really been, in the last podcast, I think we talked about, that must have been the episode where we talked about how I quit my job and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're just, fully content, well, mostly like freelance and content creation's like our main thing. We're still trying to figure that out, that balance out. It still hasn't, at least I haven't really, to be honest, haven't found like the perfect balance for all of this stuff yet, to be honest, and it's still figuring it out. And before we knew it, a month passed. So
yeah. It's already May.
Did anything change for you?
I mean, you're around more.
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it made me realize like maybe it might be healthy for us to spend time away too. Like, I don't have issues now or anything. I don't think you have issues now either. But I meant in the long run, because we spend like 24 hours together right now.
Yeah,
right, 24/7. So you can't get away from me.
Well, it's not like we're always talking to each other, even if we're
right. But I meant even though like we're always in the same like similar close vicinity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if it's healthier to spend time away. I don't actually know.
You can be honest, Blue. Do you want to just? Is it?
No.
Thank you guys so much for listening to the last episode of Stream On Streaming On. Actually, the last episode of Blluist in general. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys in the next timeline.
I was trying to be nice, saying like, hey, you're more than welcome to go like out drinking with friends to spend time away from me. But sure, Yeah.
I mean, I do when I need to. I think when I go, I go.
Mm-hmm.
But like people have been reaching out to me, just out of their kindness, like, great, you all right, man? Like, is everything okay? It's either that or I look like an emotional wreck on stream all the time, which hopefully I don't, because I don't feel that. But
that's not anything new though.
Yeah, I'm a wreck in a whole different type of way.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I think like I would say like I thought it was gonna be a lot harder to. First of all, the biggest fear that I was gonna have was that I wasn't gonna like streaming as much, because for the last 5 years I was only on full-on schedule streams for half of the time, or maybe even less than that than you, because you had solo streams, right? So I was a little worried that when all of a sudden, because I was unintentionally almost using my day job as a break from thinking about stuff, even though I was thinking about stream all the time. It was physical break from streaming.
Mentally too.
Yeah, for sure. So I thought it was going to be like I was scared that I wasn't going to be into it anymore and that spark would be gone. So it was the opposite of that. And I realized that I like streaming even more. So actually one thing is that we do these things called impromptu streams, where we have the normal scheduled streams 5 days a week. But if we feel like streaming outside of that, we have these impromptu streams that, we just stream on the Blluist channel. We don't tweet it or anything. It's just on the Discord. We stream on Twitch, but the notification's only on Discord. It's pretty low key, and it's just like really just is out of nowhere. And I used to do that a lot. And I used to do that, I thought, because I wasn't streaming as much. But I stream just as much as, I stream 5 times a day. But I'm still doing impromptu streams.
I think I think we should take a break from thinking about streaming every day though. I think I'm really glad that you still like streaming.
No, yeah, I was going to get to it's also a problem.
Oh.
It's also so it's like a double-edged sword because um it's good that I like streaming, but at the same time, because I realize that it gives me no time to not think about it anymore. All the times that I don't think about it because I physically couldn't are gone. So I spent so much more time thinking about something that I like, which sounds good on paper, but it kind of it doesn't always end on a positive note. If that
Mm-hmm.
it's
Because it could.
yeah,
There's some times where you overthink, and it
yeah, a
spirals
lot of
into a very
times.
negative, like negative way too,
Yeah,
which isn't very constructive, or it doesn't really move things along in a good way.
I agree. And I
So
think
I think you just need to either physically or mentally pull yourself away from those situations, because I don't think you can dig yourself out of those holes. So when you catch yourself in that situation, you have to be like, okay, I need to do something else and go. You can even do an imp stream. Like you don't have to like look for another hobby. Like
yeah, I mean
if
that's what I
you're
do.
yeah, if you're sprawling into like negative mindset, you can be like, okay, you know what? I think I need something else, and then go stream. I think that's a
Yeah.
possibility too.
I,
So I think you need to start actually balancing out how much time you put into stream, because right now, yeah, I think it is too much to the point where it's
well, if I'm
turning negative.
streaming,
So
if I'm streaming, isn't that what you're saying I shouldn't be doing?
no, I'm saying like you shouldn't be thinking about it too much. As
Oh,
in, like
just
it's
thinking about
okay
yeah.
to stream a lot and doing a bunch of imp streams. I think that's fine, but I'm more like you're gonna have to start figuring out a healthy balance of when you do think about stream and when you don't. Like you need to choose days where you're like, okay, don't think about stream at all today. Or if you do think about it a little bit, like almost time yourself, I think.
Mm.
Or you should schedule when you can think about it and when you can't. Or else it's going to just, knowing you're just going to think about it every single day. And then it's just going to get negative and negative and negative.
Well, it's not gonna get negative. I mean, it's
I
up and
mean,
down. I'm not.
yeah.
I'm not.
Because I mean, of course, sometimes it does go
Yeah.
positive. But I'm talking about like worst case scenario.
A lot of
If
the
it goes
times,
down into a negative space and you keep spiraling, then you need to figure out, like, I think if you can balance it already, then it's going to limit how much that spirals.
yeah, I think, um, it's not a negative spiral, but it is. It's just not good to think about one thing because a lot of it is actually pretty positive. I think where it's oh, okay, you know, and this is like with any content creator, but it's like oh, okay, we're here, and then we objectively see that this is our goal. We need to go here, blah blah, and it the more you do it, repetition gets rid of this like new feeling. We've been doing it for almost 5 years, and so it's easy to get that kind of um to focus on the cynical side or the negative side.
Mm-hmm.
So it does fall into it sometimes. That's like there's times like that, and there's times that it's like okay, you know what? I really like what I'm doing. I really believe in what we're doing. Let's keep doing it, and time will tell, type thing. And it hasn't changed. Like the balance of that has not changed. The only thing that changed is that I spent more time thinking about those things every day. That, of course, if I'm thinking about it one time during the day versus 10 times a day, I'm gonna hit the negatives more and I'm gonna hit the positives more. So it's just
Yeah.
like all over the place. So it is I think I agree with you. I think it's really important for me to like set distance a little bit. I've never been in a situation in my life where I in a way am allowed to think about the creative things all day every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like it's also not like it's in a hard place because usually when somebody quits their day job after 10 years, it's usually when that other side job, in this case the creative side or freelance, is making more money financially than the main job, and you like doing the other thing. Our case was not that. It was a purely mental decision, mental exhaustion, and mental health type thing. And my family, Blluist family, is very supportive about it too. But surprisingly, because I didn't tell my parents, until like after I quit. But um, and they were okay with it. They understood where I was coming from and all that, and I was having a hard time. But bringing it back to the point, um, it's a huge life risk to be taking at 32. I'm turning 32 this year. And I know that Blue knows that more than anybody for our situation and what that means, because, it's not like we're making a tubload of money off of freelance or streaming or content creation at all. And it's such a creative dive and risk. And a lot of people don't do it. And I think in general, I wouldn't suggest someone to take this road unless they had some kind of backup or something like that. And also the way that we kind of approach this whole creative thing, this whole, not just streaming, but just like how we think Blluist should be, how we want Blluist to be, is something that requires so much time. And it's not, let's get it fast, let's go. And then we know that more than anybody. And so, or that's the game we're playing. And that's not the only way in any way. But for us, that's what makes sense to us and what's comfortable to us. And we're not the type of people that are, if there's something that we don't agree with, we'll give it a shot, but we just don't keep doing it if it's not fun or if it doesn't make sense to us in some sort of way. So I think Blluist always just tries a lot of things. We try a ton of things. We'll give everything a shot. We don't just deny something because it's, out of our comfort zone. I'm really, I think we're very open to being uncomfortable and trying new things, 100%. But the things that stick. The things that don't stick just don't, and we know it. And if you don't continue it, to us, it doesn't really, it doesn't help us. So, or it doesn't mean anything. So, I think it's that. And just all in all, I just think about all of that every day. And so, there's a good side, as in like, oh, I really like this, knowing that I really, really like doing what I do. But at the same time, it does, you're right. Like
I think it puts you in a box too. Like your viewpoint just gets smaller and smaller and smaller if you don't do anything else. Because you're stuck in you're forcing yourself into this bubble, and you're just hearing your own voice. I mean,
we do go hang out.
I know.
It's not like I'm like,
I know.
I reject everyone's offer.
But I'm not talking about going out or not. I'm talking about you taking time for yourself. That's not something like, oh, you're like, you only go if your friends invite you. What I'm saying is you need to take the initiative to even do something by yourself, is what I'm saying. You need to recognize, I think one of like the things you need to start doing is, after quitting, is just kind of recognizing when to take breaks. I think mentally. I'm not talking physically. I'm not saying taking breaks from streaming either. Just taking a break, recognizing, where you are mentally, and being like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this.
But I don't know what this is.
No, which could be
problem.
Playing a game, watching a movie, watching YouTube, or even streaming. That's fine.
I do all those.
Yeah, I know.
I do.
So I'm saying that's what you need to continue doing.
Yeah, because I don't think I'm in a bad, like this, the way it's being worded right now is we're focusing a lot on the negative side, but it's not all negative. And I think it's
just healthy to do, to not be like this the whole time. You want to do other things too. So I don't think that's a bad thing.
If I can find it, if I can find something that I think is interesting, that's like, or I would just, like you said, like just stream, just
stream, and I think that's fine,
because impromptu streams are completely different. I think
because like thinking about stream, like, oh, you know what, yesterday's stream was really good. Like, no, I'm not talking even about like just simple thoughts like that. Talking about when you get really analytical and try to break down things, and you get really heavily into like, I guess, trying to figure out why this is this. Or like those really deep things that require a lot of mental work.
Mm-mm-mm.
And I'm talking about just those kind of thoughts. So like just general like, you know what, that was really fun. I want to do that again. Maybe we should try this. Like really like not anything too deep, I think is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I meant more like sometimes you do get into that focus mode where all you just like you really like dig
Yeah.
into like one thought process or like one topic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those is what I mean is sometimes you just got to step back and look at it a different day. Or even if it's a positive thought, just like it's healthy to step back, do other things, come back to it kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm not good at that. That's for sure.
And that's why I'm here.
Yeah. And you do pull me out when if I'm
Yeah.
like too stuck in something, and I do the same for you where I push you in.
Mm.
If I feel like in a way like pull you in is a better way to
Yeah.
say it than push you in because I'm in there, but just
You're
kind
already
of
in
like,
that swamp.
yeah. And then if I feel like you need, like it's over here, like
Yeah.
if you seem a little lost but you need to get in and get into like that mindset because with both of our minds is the strongest, I think. And so
I think it's a push
Yeah.
and pull.
yeah, I think so. That's pretty much what it's like.
Yeah.
It like and it hits every stream hits heavier for me. Every scheduled stream hits heavier for me since I quit. I think it's like which was the hardest thing when I first started quitting was how much weight I was putting on each stream, and there are so many things you understand in your head. Okay, like there's so much stuff that you understand in your head, where it's not just about this, it's not just about that. Thing days are different, whatever. There's so much stuff but you don't feel those things that you know in your head logically. Sometimes a lot of it you can't feel it when the moment comes, and I think it was very hard that once I was doing this more, that feeling of like I know this but I can't feel that. I know it in my head but I cannot feel that because I'm just a human, and there's all the things that I could fall back on are gone now, and so I was adding extra pressure. I mean, it is pressure. Anything becomes pressure, and anything becomes something that can pull you down emotionally or mentally. And I think I just couldn't balance that part where I was like, everything I was thinking in my head is A, B, C, D, but I can't feel that. So it's like I'm fighting with myself with not being able to understand that there was a disconnect there. And I think it happens with everybody with anything, any type of job, anything, a type of hobby, or anything that they're taking seriously too, or anything. But there's just times when you know something but you can't feel it, and that's just human. That's just being human, So I think this month I was trying to really balance that part out as much as I could, because it's not that kind of energy will, it kind of like infects you too.
Yeah.
That kind of energy. And so it's, it wasn't like after I stopped working, I started drinking heavily with stress and, all that. And it wasn't like that, but it's also not like, fuck yeah. Like it's not like, let's go, whoa. It's like this really weird middle ground.
It's like you're very uncertain about
Yeah.
how things are gonna go. So you're borderline scared. You're also borderline worried.
I'm
but at the same
terrified.
time, you're also kind of happy. And so you don't really know how to feel.
Yeah, it feels great mentally that I don't have the Sunday blues anymore.
But it's like you're still worried about like paycheck, or you're worried about what's going to happen in the future kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I went through that when I lost my job. So you're right where I lost my job.
Mm-hmm.
It's when I was like seriously not, I was almost panicking at the first month because I was like, what am I going to do with money? Like what am I going to do in the future kind of thing. So it's relieving, but also concerning at the same time.
Now you can support me.
Yeah. I'll do my best.
I think it's It was gonna happen either way.
Yeah.
Wherever we were, even if we weren't doing content creation or whatever it may have been, I think the timing would have come. It was just a matter of time that I wasn't gonna work there for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like fuck that. So it
Yeah.
was just I think it was just time that I moved on and did my own thing, and I don't know. It just seemed like I'm 32. I gave my 20s, all of my 20s, to this company when it came to like professional work. Of course, I did a lot of freelance stuff on the side, but besides that, and it's not like I'm really glad. I'm really glad of that experience of like I've learned a lot, you know, from and I'm actually using that for my freelance work, so that that works too. So it's I don't know. I'm still in that kind of like I'm not very good at replying to texts, but I've been extra bad this month since I quit because I just can't keep my head straight. And it's not like, oh, I'm thinking about streaming all the time. It's not that. It's just like I don't know. There's just these moments that I never had in the last 10 years where I'm like, I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am. And it's like not about like I need a job offer. It's not shit like that. It's like just I'm not a kid. I'm not old. I'm not like a super like at the end of my life. Um, it's not like we're not rich. We're not popular or like when I mean popular, I mean like in the content creation world, we don't have enough to sustain a living comfortably at all. And we still got to hustle, right? And it's kind of like, but at the same time, we believe in what we do. If we didn't believe in what we did, things would be run very differently, I think, personally. But we wouldn't be able to do that. That's just not in our personality. And I think, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but there's so many times where I just sit there going, where am I? What am I doing? What is this? And like I just feel lost, as in I know what I want to do. I know what I need to do. But I'm at a really weird place in my life where I can't be, I can't be on the left side of it or like, the far right or the far left. And not like my political views or shit like that, but just like if this was like a ruler or like if this was like, a scale, I can't be on the left, like, I can't seesaw to the left or seesaw to the right anymore. I'm like in this really weird mid place. So it's almost like I'm having like an existential crisis of like, what am I? Where am I? Like sometimes I just get lost.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think I'm also going through not necessarily self-discovery or anything. It's just more like, I think recently I'm starting to realize that maybe the way I think about things isn't very conventional. In terms of like, I don't know if, because like I've always had this feeling like that ever since I was little, that I don't emotionally express things the way other people do, or like experience emotions the way other people do.
Okay.
And that's making me think about things.
Making you think
Which,
about things.
I mean, it's really vague because it's not like I'm not really doing anything about it, but it's starting to make me realize, because it's like, especially with like streaming and you being here more, it's made me realize even more that maybe I don't really I don't express emotions as well as you do. And I think I'd feel it differently. I don't really know.
You don't express it.
Yeah,
I do.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's not like better or anything like that. You're just somebody, from what I've seen, this is anecdotal, but
Yeah.
you tend, compared to all the people that I've met in my life, that you are more subtle with the way you show it, or it's first thought. Like you put a lot of thought into it before you express your first expression. Is how I feel. Yeah, sorry. I didn't want to
Oh
interrupt,
no,
but
yeah, but that's the thing. Is like I don't know how to almost.
how to express? Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
like because sometimes like we were talking about how it's like because especially with like when we beat something really difficult, right?
Mm.
Usually like you would scream, you'll shout or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have that kind of that's not my reaction ever.
Mm.
Even beating something like Millennia where of course I went through that same thing with you, right?
Yeah.
So I should be feeling very similar emotions to you.
Yeah.
But to me, I don't have that like explosive like outward emotion. It's just it's all very even if it's internal, it's more like
Yeah.
that's it. Like mine's like a deflating balloon. Yours explodes.
Yeah.
And
But-
it just makes me wonder if that's just I don't know.
We're
It's just like
feeling the
yeah.
same. We're feeling the same intensity. It's just the way we express it is different.
Yeah.
I mean, yours is very internal. It's almost like the intensity's there, and yeah, like you said, it's deflating.
Yeah.
Whereas mine is, you know, you deflate by somebody. If you were a balloon, like someone unties the bottom and lets the
Yeah.
air out.
Yeah.
Whereas with me, someone takes a needle and just pops it,
Yeah.
and the air is getting released, but it's just so much like it's just the different ways that we release the tension. I think, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that's what is so
I know,
interesting about us. I think.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it too, but it's just more like kind of almost not really self-discovery, but it's just making me realize like how different you and I are.
Yeah.
And how we can use that. Not use it. That sounds like really like, technical and like almost like sleazy, but that's not I don't mean like use as in like a tool, but I meant like more like
try to
is there
so you're trying to use me now that I don't have a job. You
yeah,
just want to use me
yeah.
at every single opportunity.
Yeah, I want you in
Thanks.
a maid outfit.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. And exploit you. Yeah. No. I meant more like, is there any way we can? Because we already have a good yin and yang going. So I just thought, is there any way we can even make that more fun or more severe to the point where it's very, very apparent,
Mm-hmm.
even for new people, you know?
Yeah,
So.
I think that's a really good point. Is that I really think about our dynamic even more
Mm-hmm.
now that I spend so much time on the streams, because I think your solo streams had a certain dynamic to it, and being solo has its own dynamic, right?
Mhm.
And then when it's duo, it's a lot of it is bouncing off each other, or that's why I think like for us, just objectively seeing this channel as much as I can, just chatting is like
Yeah.
a strong suit that a lot of other streamers can't do because they're alone.
Yeah.
Is because just chatting we can just bounce off each other, whereas in a different case, you can't do that. You bounce off, of course, with people that are there hanging out, commenting, or like with the chat, but there's something different about having someone physically here, hearing their voices, seeing their facial expressions, and then feeding off that, and then so we can bounce off of two things, whereas everyone can only bounce off of one thing, like just the chat or something like that. And so like that's why that's our strength, right? I think strength as in like that's something that we realized really early on, that's an advantage that we have, in the sense that we can stream, just chatting streams. Of course it's really hard to do that all the time every day, but it's just something that's just in general, not because we're interesting people, but just the dynamic, or like just the format. It's going to be a podcast. It's going to be like a podcast, but it's going to be a little bit over the top, but it's bound to be more interesting.
Yeah.
Unless we're like completely boring robots or something like that, then it's bound to be a little bit more. If you have even a sprinkle of personality, then it, and we like each other, then it's going to be something interesting, and we don't like purposefully say stuff or, try to make stuff up just to, just to make it interesting, or we don't act or anything like that. But I think there's a little bit of that performative part that comes out just a little bit when we stream together. So yeah, I've noticed that a lot. And then I would compare that with like when we go into games.
I mean, even with games, like I think it's still very apparent how different we are when we're playing games too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think like you're like fire. You are like the embodiment of fire. Like you know what? It's a compliment.
Yeah, I know.
Like you are like burning. Okay, you're burning.
Hot. You can just say hot.
You're really hot.
Thank you.
So, and like your emotions are very infectious. What is that the right word?
Infectious. Yeah.
Like when
contagious?
Contagious. Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's like, you know, fire spreads and all that shit.
Yeah.
You're like that, I think. So when you get really excited about a game or you get frustrated with a game, I think it's very obvious to everyone around.
Mm-hmm.
And people also catch on to that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I get very swayed by your emotions.
Mm.
Like, you bring me along a lot of times. And not in a bad way.
Good
I'm talking
and
about,
bad.
good and bad. So if you're feeling negative, I feel negative. If you're feeling positive, I feel positive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So even with games, like, you have this burning, like, desire to do something. And when you focus on, like, okay, we're going to get this thing by today's stream, it's like, it's you do or die.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, like, yeah, once you have that engine going, there's nothing that can stop it.
Yeah.
And that can mean also positive or negative way as well.
Yeah.
And of course, and then on my end, I think it can also be positive, negative, where I'm just like water in a little stream. I'm just cruising, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can calm people down, but I'm not really good at bringing up the mood. I'm just kind of there. I'm very calming, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm very grounded.
I think you are.
So when we play games as well, I think I can be a little too lax sometimes, or I don't care enough sometimes. Like I take too much of a I'll be fine kind of mindset when no, it's like, no, we should focus more. But also at the same time, it's like when you're getting too heavy into something, I can be like, whoa, let's step back. So it's also positive, negative in that sense too. But at the same time, when we're not in the same mindset, it can clash so hard. And I think that's what's so difficult is when we're not mentally on the same level, we clash so hard. And that's what's the most frustrating.
Also, I think there's what I've realized also, I knew this in my head, but I guess I didn't feel it, like kind of connecting it with what we were talking about before. That I really feel now within this last month is that you tend to stream to play games. This is a very generic comment. So just follow along.
Okay.
You stream to play games. I play games to stream. You grew up with games. I grew up with games. I had a huge like pause with games for a while, right? And then I came back into it after I started dating you. And I'll play games off stream, right? I'll play games, but a lot of the times, besides some games that I play by myself, they're usually co-op games with you. So it's just it's just games that I enjoy plus get to enjoy with you.
Yeah.
Okay. I like stream, and I mentioned this before in like streams like back, right? I like streaming more than I like games. So for me, 99% of the games that we play on stream, I would never play if I wasn't streaming it.
Right. I agree with that too, though.
So to me, which is like, that might be a very unpopular opinion, but I love the performative side of streaming a game. And so when I say like, let's do this, I would never do any of those things if I wasn't streaming.
Right.
I'm always envisioning in my head what would be what's an experience that I wouldn't, even if I played this game off stream, I want to make it an experience that I would never have if I was playing it off stream. And so that's why I think I fixate on those like very specific things that are important to me, but aren't really, maybe to you it's kind of just like side stuff, or like, let's just keep going, okay, or like let's just beat this thing, okay.
Because for me it's more like I do like, there's certain games that I would have never played if I wasn't streaming. So for me it's more like, I think it's like, oh, I like this game, I want to share it with people, and I want to share my love for this with people, and that's why I stream, kind of thing. That's why I had no trouble streaming Death Stranding, right? Or even like Star Wars right now, I haven't picked it up since my M stream, because I do want to share it with people. So I'm going to play it on my M stream, which I haven't gotten to do recently. But I think it's more like, I would, but at the same time, I also would not pick up a game just because it'll be good to stream, if that makes sense. Like, I have to like it too.
Of course.
And more so than you, I think.
I think there's you already know there's some game types that I would not pick up.
That's true,
right?
So maybe not. I think I'm more open than you are then.
I
think. I don't know, actually.
I think you're more open than me. No, I think you're more open.
But I'm really specific with things I don't like either.
But
so
I think mine's more like, like I don't think the thing, if it's, there's games like Pokemon where I don't care. Right? There's games that I don't give a shit, I'm playing this. Or like
Elden Ring.
From any Elden Ring, I don't care, we're gonna play this. There's, of course, right? It's not, I don't want there to be, I think I have to be really careful with what I said, because it kind of sounds like I don't like games. I love games. But it's just, streaming made me love games even more. And I don't really care about, like, if you've ever seen a Blluist stream, we never care about getting 100%. We never care about getting the fastest speed. We never care about, because that has no weight for us in our way. I think that's totally fine for people that do that and whatnot, but for us in our style,
it's how fun and entertaining we can make it.
And
our experience playing it too. Of course.
And because we usually don't, unless it's like Elden Ring or Pokemon or something like that, we're like the last ones to play that game. Like, like we played The Last of Us for the first time like 2 years ago or something like that, and there's already experts in the game a lot of the times when we play big release titles, and it's just so much, to me it's so much more fun that way, where people can talk about the game, or like, talk about, it's more fun for people that are watching too, because I personally like watching streams where I've already played the game. And it's always, fun, just,
or I enjoy people nerding out to whatever they like.
I
think that's the most fun, is like watching someone really nerd out to Pokemon. I think that's similar to what we're trying to create too. Like, where we are enjoying it so much that we kind of get lost.
And it's not like,
not in like a,
we don't know everything about it. Like, we probably know less about the game itself or something like that, but we're never shy to admit that, I guess. Like, we have no pride in any of that, I think.
We are aware that we're not the best at things, and we don't have the knowledge of things either. We just like it. That's it.
And
if you guys like it, come join us, kind of thing. It's like, it's not a competition on who does what better. Like, I mean, I bring this up a lot, but like Monster Hunter, like, I fucking love Monster Hunter. Like, I will play any Monster Hunter that releases, and I think people who watch us, who are part of our community, know that I fucking love Monster Hunter. Like, I will eat that shit up. But am I the best at it? No. Can I get top DPS? No. Do I know the lore about all the monsters? No. Do I know which monster has what weak points and what weakness to what elements? No. I have to look it up. I have to look at the guide every time. Like, I'm not knowledgeable. I'm not the best. I just love it to bits. And I think that's what's, I don't know. I guess that's kind of why I like streaming. It's because I can find like-minded people and I can nerd out and people don't judge me and people have fun with me about stuff that we really enjoy. But it's not like no one's there to, like, we're not pressuring anyone. No one's pressuring us. We just really like it and we like, want to share that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we want to, I guess, give the best experience when it comes to like entertainment and just love for things, I guess.
The point that I was trying to make when I meant like that we're different is that I think because of the way that we approach games is different.
Yeah.
It also changes. We have two different types of. If we were both solo streamers, it'd be very different.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think balancing that out is really hard sometimes. And if you've done any cooperative thing with anybody, it happens. Mm-hmm. Even with Blue and Gray, it happens where there's a certain tempo. Everything is a rhythm, right? Like when you play a game, and it's something you don't realize. We started realizing it in Split Control, but there's a rhythm to the most subtle things. Opening up menus, how fast you go through the menus, because in your head you already know you want to get item A, but we're looking through everything. When you go to a store in a game and you look at the stuff, there's a rhythm to everything. And
I mean, it could be just as simple as I want to look around the whole room. Gray wants to go through the door, and that's it. That's that small difference just breaks everything. Because I'm trying to circle back. He wants to get through the door.
Yeah, and I think
so. It's just like even those little tiny things where we're just like normally you wouldn't think about it when you're playing by yourself. Like like, oh no, I want to look around more. You just look around more. It's like, oh no, we're done here. We can go on. You can just do that. But when we're Split Control, we can't do that.
So it creates this little dissonance in rhythm. But the reward of something like Split Control is so much more fun. I end up liking the games that we play in Split Control a lot more because everything just seems so, I don't know. It feels like we're doing something, again, that I would never do off stream if it wasn't a public performance in some sort of way. And it makes me like the game even more than if I didn't play it. So the reward that we get from Split Control is so much more. But these little play styles are, and it's something that it's funny at first. When you first start doing it, it's funny. Especially with an action game, it's still funny. It's still fun. I have no stress or anything like that. It's those RPG games that are longer.
And it just happens like every 5 minutes.
And and you just, we don't even commentate on it.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't commentate it at all. And like, it's just something that like goes past it.
I mean, I think that's why horror games are so good. Is because it's funny when we mess up because we are both panicking.
Yeah.
So we're not calm enough to focus on the fact that our rhythm is different. It's just we're both panicking, so we're both freaking out anyway. And it makes it funnier if we fuck up and we die.
Yeah.
So I think that's why horror games work so well with Split Control. And there's no and it's also not very long either.
Yeah, like Resident Evil 4 was probably Resident Evil's just a great game.
Yeah.
But
it just works so well with Split Control.
Super fun. Shifu was really fun too. Sifu was the one that we played recently. That was a whole nother difficulty that was that one didn't, it was just like a loop, but it wasn't anything stressful. It was just really fun, and it was it was tiring in a good way. It's like you're like just exercising because you're on full focus and stuff like that. It's just I think we derailed a ton here, but I think that's what the whole podcast is fine. This should be called Derailed the podcast because that's what we always do. But I focus on that a lot more. I notice more. I notice, and I think I understand Blue and Gray a lot more than I did before. I
think we just have to keep reminding ourselves that this isn't a solo stream.
Yeah. That
we're doing it together. Because sometimes I think we both run out of patience.
Yeah.
And so we just have to step back and be like, no, this isn't a solo stream. So stop stop getting frustrated about not being able to do what you want to do. Like, of course, you're not going to be able to. We chose to do this split control. So it's like, shut the fuck up and sit back. It's what I have to tell myself. Because it's like, wait, why are you getting frustrated about not being able to look around? Like, of course, you're not going to be able to. That's not the whole point.
Yeah.
And so we just have to keep, I guess, reminding ourselves that. And I'm not saying that we don't do that every single time. It's not you know, like just like headbutting every single time or anything like that. But it's just like
more interesting to talk about the things that, yeah.
It's just more like, you know, those minuscule times where it's like something like snaps in your head and you get irritated. And it's like, you have to kind of step back and be like, wait, why am I getting irritated in the first place when I chose to do this? And we're playing together. So it's like, of course.
Or it would be like even more kind of deep cut of that would be like, I would throw you a pass, a metaphorical pass, or you would throw me a pass and be like, you expect me to do something to kind of make that moment. It doesn't have to be funny, but it just, or anything like that. But there's just kind of like, okay, this is a moment where I can throw a pass to Blue, and then she'll throw it back at me, and then we can banter or something like that. Like something really minuscule. That's something that happens. Like just trying to do this really, and it's really a lot of times unintentional too, where it's I notice it after I throw it or something like that, and then so once I notice that I threw the pass and the ball doesn't come back, she doesn't react the way that I envisioned it in that 5 seconds, or it doesn't go the way that it wants to in that 5 seconds. Then I have to change gears to be like, okay, well, if that didn't work, I'll do this, or I'll say that, or something like that. And when that, sometimes we just cannot hit it. Sometimes, and I think a lot of times, it doesn't show on stream.
Yeah.
Because it's so fucking subtle.
It's very subtle that only we notice.
But sometimes it's like, oh, I missed that one, missed that throw, missed that throw, missed that throw. Okay, I dropped that ball. Like it's not like, we're not comedians. So I'm not talking about like funny jokes, it's just like this synergy where like,
or it's like he would like give me shit about something small,
like,
but I wouldn't give him shit back, or like I would just be silent because I don't hear him, and it's like, wait, Blue, what are you doing? Hello, I'm talking to you, kind of thing. Or it's just like small things like that where it's not even a joke. It's more like, hey, I'm talking to you. Hello, do you hear me? And it's like, no, completely, I don't hear him.
Or like it's even with like, because I think that's like comedic skill, and I don't think we have comedic skill or anything like that. We're just bantering. But like in games where I'll like look at something and I think in my head, oh, it'd be really funny, or it'd be really interesting and funny if Blue said, and this is completely selfish. That's why it's okay that it doesn't happen. In my head, I go, that would be funny if she said this, and then I'll say that, and it doesn't happen. I go, and that's fine. And then if it's something that I really wanted to happen, I'll do it again, and then
kind of bait it.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
I'll bait it. Yeah, I'll bait Blue sometimes. Like, not all the time, but there's just these moments, right? When you just stream for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
And it's just for my own entertainment, you know, because it makes me, I get to have fun, you know, and hopefully people that think, you know, people will also think it's fun too. But it's just these little things. And it's just like, there's days. I know, like in my head exactly what those days are. But there are just some days where Blue throws something, I don't notice it, and then the ball goes flying over there, and then I miss the cue, and then I throw something at her, and then it hits her head and bounces back, hits my head, and it kind of thing.
There's days where nothing goes right.
And we're like, oh my god, that was a shit stream. And when that happens over and over and over again, there's times.
It gets so tiring.
It's just like, oh shit, like it's.
The thing is, it's not something we can get mad at each other for either. It's just one of those days. So you just have to be like, you know what? It was one of those days. Yeah. We're just going to have to move on.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's all in the name of being natural too.
Yeah.
Because there's no script, nothing. And the parts that don't work out are the best. We know that.
Yeah.
We know that, like,
the fuck ups are the best.
Yeah. And it's not like I just want to make it really clear. We don't like do anything because I think it's just the lamest shit if we start fucking up or start stalling or something for comedic effect that's so obvious.
Yeah, can you stop pointing the camera at girls' butts all the time? Thanks.
That's on purpose, but that's just because, again, selfish.
Yeah,
Okay,
can you not?
I need something out of these games.
Like hiding by the mannequin's butt on Outlast. Like, please. We had a
That's totally
job
on
to
purpose.
do. We had a job to do.
Dude, I was the
But
one
you
that
were
saved.
focusing on her butt.
I saved you. You died. I was the one that saved us
Yeah.
out of there.
Do you know why I died?
Because you suck.
Because you weren't there.
I kind of used you as bait, but that's beside the point. The point is, that was completely my fault. I fell behind on that one, but I think that's a lot about not just split control, but that's just what we think about and talk about a lot. And it's, oh, that worked, that didn't work, okay, but it's a lot more of that now. Everything we just talked about is something that we would talk about maybe once a week or twice a week. Now it's like almost every other stream and it's good. It's extremely good, extremely constructive, and it's because we love streaming. And again, it's because I like streaming more than playing games on my own. So to me, I want to know everything about streaming. I want to know as much as I can. I want to know like what I need. I want to find what I believe is the perfect style for us, something that I personally like a style that I like, and want to be the best at it. And that just takes time and time and time and time and time. And that's when my mind starts to turn out to be like my head sometimes. My hair right now just explodes, and then I just need to take a break, sometimes. And then maybe it might just be a can of beer or just watching a movie or something like that. And Blue, like, MVP for dealing with that shit. Because, like, when I'm in that mode, it's really dark in the sense that, like, it's really
it's really
tense.
Intense.
Yeah.
It's really
very
intense.
tense. And I think tense is fine. Tense is not anger. Tense is not negative. But tense it only goes 100 or 0. Tense either goes like it's 100 in like happy, or like 100 in just like,
I don't think it's tense. I think it's intense.
Intense?
Like, you get really intense. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Like, you get really like,
come on, man.
yeah, 100 or 0.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's what I think that's, and we of course we can go on forever about stuff like this. And that's what we've been doing, just stuff that we don't talk about on stream. It's not really interesting to hear this on stream, and it just kind of like,
that's why we do it on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it as clear as I can that it's not just negative, but when you hear words like intense or like I need to take a break, it always just kind of is like, are you guys okay? Like, we're better than ever in that sense of like,
it's more like we're just talking about what we have been going through right now, and just with Gray being home all the time, it's just like what the stuff we talk about or what we noticed recently and whatnot.
The changes.
So yeah, because I think, like I said, it's not all negative at all, for sure. I mean, I think it's more positive than negative recently, actually.
I think our streams are getting better too, and I think all in all,
I think it's just more interesting, I guess, to talk about negative things.
That's so true. Like, you're absolutely right. Like,
so we're focused. We are very focused on the negative stuff right now, but I do want to reassure people that it is very positive at the moment. So
yeah, it's more interesting because it's not something we can easily talk about, but this is a platform for us to be able to like. This podcast is also a really safe place for us to just be. It's really weird because we don't really put up much recorded content except this. So this is just like streaming for us in a way. We don't cut any of this stuff unless I get like my ass is showing or something like that. But it's like, this is it's really the same, but very different. I feel a lot more, although I regret being so honest sometimes on this podcast, and I'm like, Blue, should I not have said that? Or like, did that not seem like a joke?
About whether we should cut some parts before,
just because. And then I was like, do you think people will take what I said like this? And Blue's like, no, you prefaced it by saying
Yeah,
A,
so
B,
that's
C.
what I mean is when he spirals, is just he gets into that kind of mood and he just overthinks everything. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
But yeah, let's move on to questions.
Yeah. Let's do it. Thank you guys so much. Before that, let me you can go through the questions for a second. I'll be back in just a sec.
So we for this podcast, we ask our subs to give us questions on Discord. So if you are not aware of that, please go check out our Discord. If you connect your Twitch account and Discord account, you should be able to see our sub only Discord channels. And there we do have a channel that's named Podcast Questions. And you're more than welcome to ask any question you would like, and we'll answer it on our podcast.
Let's go. Thank you guys for your questions.
First question is to Gray.
What's up?
From Mai.
Hi, Mai.
When will Gray take
Next
Blue
question,
on a
next
date?
Next question. What's the next question? We did I guess we should talk about our private life a little bit more too, but we went to a show.
That's not a date.
We went to we recently went to Asakusa. We went to a vegan restaurant.
That wasn't a date.
We went to the Torch place.
That wasn't a date.
In
that was just a detour.
What?
That was a detour.
Life is a detour. That was deep. Next one. What's the next question?
Okay, next one is from Yuzu. So what's the first thing you do when you arrive abroad? Food, bar, cultural stuff, arts, cool places?
Ooh, food. For me, I want to try out like the most local food. Is like my go-to. How about you?
I would find a cafe.
Cafe? Why would? Okay, interesting question. Why cafe?
I'm looking for coffee or tea. When I first land, yeah.
Are you trying out? You mean like the local tea? Or?
Yeah, local coffee or tea place. Yeah, I'm not like a Starbucks. I'm looking for like a local cafe and see what they have on. Yeah, because as soon as I land off an airplane, I'm dead tired, so I need some caffeine to pick me up. And usually local like bakeries have like fresh pastries or breads, and that's always really fun to try because they're gonna have things that we don't have in Japan. So that's what I did in France, and that's what I did because every morning I would go to the same cafe, have an espresso and a fresh baked croissant, and it was so good.
Even the Starbucks in Ireland was completely different.
Yeah, they're all different.
Yeah,
So.
I was surprised.
So for me, cafe is the first place I go because the baked goods are always going to be good. So. And
then after that, I would check out the bar scene. If there's a pub, it's so different everywhere. Ireland was insane. It was like there was like a fucking festival going on at night, and I just love that. Just trying to see the different nightlife, as in like bar scene, pub bar scene. Not like expensive bars, you know what I mean, but something where I can go in like this with a t-shirt is what I would like seeing. And I realized just walking around the city and how different it was when I went to Ireland. I'm basing literally everything on Ireland right now, but just seeing how the town is, how the buildings are different, how the air is, just seeing the town wherever we are, I think, mostly, and the food.
For me, it'd be culture stuff or arts. I really like museums, and especially like historical places. So I'm definitely like, if there's a tourist attraction for like going to check out a castle, I'm going. I don't care if it's like a tourist trap. I'm going because I love historical shit. So if there's like an abandoned castle out in the middle of nowhere, I will go. Like crumbling sites of this like place that people like, I don't know, like famed witches held rituals or some shit. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm going.
I'll be at the pub right next to that castle.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Next question comes from Fire. Why is Kafka the best character in Honkai Rail Star Rail, and how can you improve upon perfection? I don't think you can. She is perfect.
She is perfect.
She's hot. She's great. She's strong. And
yeah.
And
I would love to have her in my party.
And, yeah. But actually, one thing, I'm probably not going to get her. I'm probably going to get 4 more Blluist before I get...
No, you're going to get 10 more marches first. You're not even going to get a Bailu. Next question.
I'm installing the game right now.
It's from Chance. If you guys made your own video game, what kind of game would it be? And more importantly, what would the story be about?
That's a fucking good question. I want to make a game where there's definitely an RPG element, but it's like gonna be Pokemon. You get monsters. I don't know how. I'm not creative enough to like think of anything, but it could be like Dragon Quest 2. Dragon Quest Monsters is also a way to do it, I think, where you scout monsters and then you have them breed and then make. That would be cool. I don't see many games like that because in Dragon Quest Monsters, you can get the monster, right? And then you scout them, and then you get a female and a male and a female, and they both each have ranks, right? And then you put them together, and then it won't tell you what you get, I believe, but it tells you like it will be if it's an A rank, it might turn into an S rank, or it could even be an F rank. Like it'll go down, and then you were like, oh, I wonder what this is, what this one's gonna be, and then you get a completely new monster. It could be shit, it could be great. You can get a really, really strong one, breed it with a really, really okay one, and get a really shitty one too. So it's kind of like, unless you look it up, there's that gotcha element. I think I miss that mechanic. Although it might be super frustrating, I would want something like that. And but definitely breeding like an RPG element where you can train monsters. Not yourself. I don't care about myself, but like something that fights for you and with you.
Okay.
Because I like seeing the monster designs and stuff like that. More importantly, what would the story be about? Being the strongest.
Trainer?
I don't know. I'm very simple-minded and like that.
I would make a potion game where you can go collect ingredients. No fighting or anything. You might have to fight just to get ingredients, but where you go harvest and collect ingredients, you bring it back to your place, and then it'll be like Cooking Mama style, where you can actually chop up ingredients or like measure stuff, or like you have to count how many sprigs of something you put into a potion, and then there's different stir methods, there's different temperature methods, like really like super detailed like potion simulator. And then after that you can like either maybe it could be shop simulator where you can design your own store and sell it, but that won't be the main thing. Would actually be like potion making. And I think it'd be cool if there's enough like leeway where you can make your own recipes and make new ones and enjoy. Can you wake up? Jesus. No. I was awake for your terrible game.
How is that a terrible game? I was just explaining Pokemon and Dragon Quest Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying those are terrible games?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying your potion game is terrible.
You were sleeping.
More importantly, what would the story be about?
I have no idea.
That's the more important part.
No, it's not important.
That's what they want to know.
The most important. The most important part is Potion Simulator.
Okay, your question. She just said your question's wrong. So, also, would you guys throw it into early release? Yeah, I'll throw it into early release, PC release, and make sure you can't run it, because that seems to be the trend.
Okay. Next one is from Vaughn. Blue, what would be your perfect date? Asking for a friend. Honestly, I really want to go to a museum.
I don't like where this is going.
Or an art gallery would be nice.
Okay. Which one?
Oh, I don't know, but a museum.
How much?
A museum or an art gallery.
Anything?
Let's go to the Edo Museum if it's open. Is it still closed? I don't know.
Okay.
All right. Great. Did you hear what she said? Now do something about that.
I knew that's where this is going. Okay. Okay. Yes. Let's go to the Edo Museum.
It might be closed. It might be closed.
We're going to go to the Edo Museum. If it's closed,
it might be closed.
We'll have to think of something else. But for now, Edo Museum. Okay? Are we good? Am I a good person now?
Mm-hmm.
See, it'd be good for me to that'll get my mind off of all that stuff we were talking about before. So it's perfect.
It's closed.
Well, then we'll have to think something else. Okay, next time. What's your favorite knife?
I like what is it, a butcher knife?
So
I
it's
don't know, the
Joran.
square.
Thank you so much for that
I
question.
like the square, like the rectangle one where you just chop things to pieces. I think it looks really cool. We don't have one, but what is that one called? The square, like
The butcher knife.
the rectangle one, and it looks really gnarly. Yeah, I want that one.
I actually, when we went to Asuka, I checked out a knife store, and I don't know what
Mhm.
kind of knife, like the difference in knives, but I was surprised to see like all the crazy designs on the knives. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I just like the swirls on it, like on the blade part. Anything that can cut through meat super fast is my kind of meat because
Meat.
yeah, my kind of meat to slice through meat.
He wants a meat knife, guys.
Yeah.
No, not like a knife made for meat, but a knife made of meat.
I just want like this sharp. I want a fucking katana. That's what I want.
That's okay.
I want a katana to just use. I'm so sick of cutting food into like small pieces. I'm so bad at it.
Okay.
Question for Gray. People changed in your im stream in their names. How do you feel about that? I don't know. You noticed that, right? Some people changed their usernames during
Yeah.
I think I feel like it's not me.
It's a you problem.
No, as in like I'm happy. I hope you guys are happy with your new names. I really appreciate that it still has the little bits of your name so we know who you are. It feels cool, that I get to like
Influence people.
control you guys a little bit. Yeah, it feels pretty fucking good that I get to like, So, yeah. It feels cool. It feels like a little cult leader.
To which countries do you want to travel to?
I'm kidding, but I hope you guys are okay with your names. I love your names. I love your new names. Dumpster fire.
To which countries do you want to travel to?
Anywhere. I want to go to anywhere in Asia.
I want to go to Iceland.
Yeah? Why?
Because there's a lake there that's made out of black sand and rocks, and it looks really aesthetically cool.
There you go. That's fine. That's a good answer. I'm not a very global person when it comes to like geography, so I don't really know, but I've seen a lot about like the other Asian countries. The reason why I say those countries is because I don't have to ride a plane for too long. And I get to have like a different experience, and I like other Asian foods. So I want to try that.
There you go.
Azza asks, how do you guys have the patience while playing split control, especially during games Elden Ring and Bread and Fred? Same, we kind of mentioned it
earlier, yeah.
But I think we do have, for me, why I can stand it is because stream comes first before them beating the game. Making a good stream, making it a fun stream for us, pretty selfish. If I can have fun doing it, I don't care if we can never beat it. I'll never give up. But I know that there's somewhere inside me that it's like once you do something long enough, you gotta be able to do it, unless it's completely impossible, and you're playing on completely impossible settings. We don't like amp it up like the difficulty of games. Usually, we just play them on normal mode. So, in that case, stream comes before beating the game fast or anything like that. So I think that's why I'm okay with it. And yeah. I think at the end
I'm just, an angelically patient person.
That too, I guess. I said something that was like not such an attack on the other person.
I'm just so patient, No, actually, I have no idea. But I think I do have pretty good patience. When it comes to things. Because like I don't especially with like Soulsborne games, I don't get mad. So like those games don't really make me mad. It's more like I might get tired because it's the same thing over and over again, and I might get frustrated at myself for not being able to dodge something over, like, even though we've done it over and over again. So it might be frustration to myself, but it's never like, I know I don't get angry at you. I don't get angry at the game because those both you and the game are not at fault. It's me. So
I hate myself.
Yeah.
I get mad at myself.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, more than a patience thing for me is like, stream comes before. I'm doing it because I'm streaming it. That's why I don't mind how long it takes. If anything, I think the longer it takes, the better. Question for
Next is Casey. Is what happens if someone
I
drops?
was reading dumpsters. Okay, I was getting ready to skip it.
What happens if someone drops by Tokyo and hassles Gray to bring him to all the nice bars and ramen places?
I'll say no. If someone comes over to me and starts asking me all this stuff, I'll be like, I don't know. You can ask me on stream and I'll tell you a couple places, but I mean, like, I would be very nervous. I don't really know all the good places. You know, I don't know all the like nice places or anything like that. But I won't be like, let's go out every night or anything like that. I don't have that energy anymore.
He's old.
Yeah.
He's
So
an old man.
but you know, if it's like a DM or something, if it's like a DM or something, of course I'll do my best.
And unfortunately, ramen makes his tummy a little wobbly.
This podcast sucks today. Today's a rough podcast.
His tummy becomes a little wobbly. So you know. All right, next question is from Mai. Question for Gray. Why don't you wear a thummy squishy thing?
You know what? You asked that as a joke. This is a reference to Fred and Bread and Fred that we're playing right now, and I was starting to get calluses on my fingers because I was just pressing the button so hard. And Blue actually has these like finger armor things.
They're like they're for it's for people who like accountants where they have to flip their money really fast. They're like rubber like little rings that you put on your fingers, and you can actually use them on your thumbs.
People that are watching it on video, Blue just kind of showed a little bit of the packaging there, but it's like these little things, these little rubber rings that you put on your thumbs.
They're basically like rubber thimbles.
And people were like, Blue was like, oh, do you want that? You should use that because I'm getting calluses or like my fingers are starting to hurt. It's gonna change the feel of the tactile buttons, and
it won't. But okay.
So I don't. Also, I gotta build these calluses, dude. I gotta build them.
Sure.
You gotta build them.
All right. Next is Yesque. Wear the squishy wishy on your wumbly thumbly. Helps the owie wowie.
Do you guys understand that people that didn't watch yesterday's stream is gonna be so?
That was from Vaughn.
Confused.
So yeah, that made people talk in baby talk to Gray.
Yeah, it was really gross.
It was yeah.
It was terrifying.
Little ouchies on his little fingies. Yeah.
There was a moment. Yes. So we're filming this on what day is it? June 1st. Today, June 1st.
Yeah.
And then so yesterday. So there was a moment of baby talk. It was really cursed. It was really scary. I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone for a second. I thought I like ended up in a different timeline while playing like one of the most frustrating games ever. So it was a trip. That definitely was a trip. Why no checky wek points? Still same thing. We don't use checkpoints. We're not using Bread and Fred. To answer that honestly, it's just
it's more fun without it.
It'll make
there's more at stake. So
yeah, again, because for us, it's not about beating the game. I mean, we will beat it, but it's more about the journey.
Okay.
Jeremy asks, have you guys ever considered being digital nomads since Gray quit his job? And would you ever settle down anywhere else outside of Japan?
I don't know, man. Japan's really comfy.
Yeah,
I mean, Japan's really comfortable.
I don't know if I could live anywhere outside, and I was open to the thought of it before COVID, and then COVID happened, and we just kept streaming and whatnot. It seems kind of cool if we had the money and if we were, you're right, we can go anywhere, but.
Well, the thing is, like, I mean, the only other
like a couple of years maybe, but I feel like I would come back to Japan.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because Japan's just nice. So.
Yeah. Even if we did, I think we'd end up coming back. It's not, it's more of like us being lazy thing too. More lazy and financial thing.
Even if we were financially able to and we weren't lazy, I still think we would stay.
We wouldn't even give it a shot?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
That's a lot of, like, because that's a lot. we would have to do.
Yeah.
We either have to apply for visas somewhere, right? And then you'd have to think about like getting insurance abroad, like foreign insurance.
And fast internet.
Yeah, and internet, and then opening up new banks, and then new accounts, getting new IDs, learning the language, learning the culture,
I have an idea.
A lot.
I have an idea.
What?
If we decide to do that, we'll just stay at one of the people here's houses for like a month, and then while we look, you guys will let us do that, right? You guys will let us sleep on your couch, right? Please, we'll do a world tour, but it has nothing to do with performance. It's just us
Going couch surfing, yeah.
Couch surfing the people that hang out on Blluist, the Blluist fam. That'd be kind of cool, even though there'd be nothing different about the streams.
Yeah.
Because it's just using other people's PCs to stream games. So, if we can do that, that'd be cool. That's really nomad-y, right?
Yeah, sure.
Right? Maybe that.
Oh, and then you would have to get a driver's license. So.
No. Why would I do that?
Because if we're going somewhere else outside of Japan or anywhere, we would have to choose someone with, like, somewhere with public transportation then.
Can't you drive?
No.
Then why do I have to get a license?
Because.
You should get a license. You know how to drive. You actually know how to drive.
You know, maybe both of us can?
I'll be streaming.
No. You can get one too.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for your questions. We will see you guys in the next month of the podcast. Again, please, people that are subscribed to Blluist are actually getting this way beforehand, like super early access, like before we even see it. It's absolutely insane. So go check it out. We're streaming on Twitch almost every single day at twitch.tv/Blluist. Come hang out. It's nuts.
I don't know why you're saying it like that, but we will see you next month.
For sure, you guys. Thank you guys so much. Take care.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.